Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sisters Chat. Thank you so much for coming back. We're so happy to have you. And I want to start off this week with an apology. I want to apologize to our listeners for having to listen to an 8-minute apology last week. It was long and probably weren't even prepared for it, to be honest. And it took up a quarter of the last week episode. So I want to issue an apology for having to go through that and to listen to it when most of you guys felt like it wasn't that necessary. For the one or two people that appreciated it, I'm happy you got your fix. But going forward, I hope you just kind of take it in.
It's because Ayla, as we know, probably has never apologized to anyone in her life. So it was like the first time. She didn't know how to do it.
I was really bad at it.
It was so unsettling.
You know, she didn't know you could just say, I'm really sorry. Like, she had no idea. Like, well, you know what, Ayla? That's okay. Because I don't know if you know. Actually, nobody knows this week, but this is a surprise. You still have people that love you because this week's podcast episode is sponsored by Shayna Nagel and Bela Greisman in honor of Ayla's big 40 birthday this week.
Are you joking?
It was not even my idea. They both called up within an hour of each other and said, we want to do something special for Ayla. She has so much. She does so much. We want to do something that will really touch her. And in honor of Ayla, thank you for believing in me, inspiring me. And I'm actually going to cry. And I really look up to you, Ayla. Mazel tov on your big 4-0 from Bela. And Shayna said, for being the best friend someone can ever have, even though you get together not so often, you still take off where you were in your seminary dorm room together, and being the best travel partner friend. She feels like you always just want the best for her, care about her, and she's so inspired how you uplift the community and everyone around you.
I can't believe that.
No, it's actually true. I had to make up a new price for shout outs for birthdays because I wasn't even prepared for this.
It's true. She called me up.
They were so excited.
She's not frozen. She's just shocked.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, crap, this is so annoying. Ayla's thing froze. We can't get her expression. You're really, oh my gosh, she's really shocked and touched.
I'm actually in shock because I thought I'm being yelled at from last week's apology. And now I didn't realize the episode's about me. So I guess I'm forgiven.
By Shayna Nagel and Bela Greisman. We don't know about
Everyone
anybody
still
else.
loves you.
But
Ayla, you're the math teacher, right? So I don't understand. If you're turning 40, how am I still 46? Like, how does that work?
Royal bride, you were probably born in Iran, like my side of the family. Like my great grandmother got married at 9.
My mommy was like, nah, 9's too late. I was very, very premature, Ma. I was very premature.
That big baby of yours just came months early.
Early. And there's so many other ways to explain it, I'm sure. Time warps, anything you want. We can
travel.
Time travel, exactly. But wait, going back for a second.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ma, we cannot take away, like, did we give enough attention to Ayla's shout out for sponsoring this week's episode? Like, is that the most, everyone's always thinking, what's a gift I could give someone? And they thought of this on their own.
I love when it hits exactly home because this episode is coming out on my 40th birthday. And the truth is I'll tell you why it's so shocking is because everyone knows this is our second time recording this episode because we did record this last week and the apology wasn't in last week and definitely not this birthday shout out. So we have a rule. Hashem really runs the podcast. He runs the world and the podcast. And that's it. We're here for take 2, but it already got so much better. This is for Shayna and Bela who actually listen. And, Bela was one of the people that messaged us and said, how am I supposed to cook without the podcast? So love that you love it. And that was literally just the best birthday gift.
Ayla, better than Mackenzie? Because they said we know she has enough Mackenzie dishes.
I can't knock all the people that sent me Mackenzie, but if they would have sent a free trip for the Sisters podcast, like we want to take you guys and come to a kosher hotel in Aruba to check it out, that's also an idea for anyone who's listening. It's still my birthday weekend. The sisters are available for that 40th birthday trip.
Or for whoever's complaining about our sound and just wants us to be together in one room, you know, on an island so there's no distraction.
We can make that work. But if you couldn't do that, oh my gosh, that was amazing.
See, and you said
And
you
Ma?
like surprises.
No, because I looked like I was frozen and I had a tech issue. See? People are not going to know. Shout out to Mommy, who's joining us on this episode, who has been the most amazing mother for 40 years. She's been my mother for longer than all of you, and let me tell you, the lady knows what she's doing. Ma, you're not going to mind that this episode, we're not going to just talk about all the amazing things you did like last time, and we're actually going to tell people the truth. Because at 40, people say you just start saying the truth, so it's happening.
Go for it.
Mom Labina, like the secrets are coming out.
Go for it.
So, Ma, this week's episode is Pesach trauma and tips.
What? Trauma? I don't know. I don't know about any trauma.
If you don't know what the trauma is, it's you.
Me?
That's how it works.
Surprise your mommy.
Can't be.
Pesach is just one of those times we go through it every year, and I feel like it's always in the Ami magazine, how to prepare for Pesach. It's always something people talk about, Pesach, 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 Pesach.
Girls, you're all coming to me for Pesach. It can't be too traumatic.
But that's, I think, why we want to talk about it, because I feel like the way that we talk about things is like to normalize things, and we have some tips, we have some tricks, and we have some fun stories, which could make people feel better about their Pesach and could help enjoy preparing for it.
Sure.
So let me set the scene for people. Like, what happens in our family and how do we know there's just a little bit of trauma? Is it every year when I see the kids singing Tu B'Shvat Hagi'a, my heart starts racing and I can't figure out why I'm so nervous that Tu B'Shvat is coming. Like, it's just blossoms and I love trees. And then I hear mommy's voice, Tu B'Shvat, time to empty out your closets. Pesach's in 2 months and we're starting today.
A head start.
Just a little head start.
But I feel like, Mom, you have to kind of explain to people what's the difference between Pesach cleaning and spring cleaning.
Well, there is a difference. There's Pesach cleaning and spring cleaning. I actually like to start in Shvat, and I start cleaning out all the closets and start organizing and stuff like that. And I always told the kids, let's do it in the wintertime when we're in the house and it's cold and no one wants to go outside anyway. And then when spring comes before Pesach, we'll have time to, go outside, enjoy the weather, and go shopping with like a lot of leisure time. So we always cleaned. I had the girls all help. We put on music and we cleaned together. And it was a lot of fun. I don't remember any trauma. I just remember fun.
I still remember cleaning close to Pesach.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't remember these trips. That sounds fake.
We definitely remember the cleaning, but
we had fun. We put on the music when we had it clean. I used to put out all the dining room chairs and all the folding chairs in the long assembly line, and I gave you all little schmattes and with little chisels, and we put on aprons and we sang and we danced, and we even had whose friend, Nini's friend, Mishka's friend, Marva. All the friends would want to come and, clean together. A family that cleans together stays together.
well, we definitely did that. It was fun. I could also mark different years of which CDs came out. Like one year we had Big Time, one year we had Matis Yahoo. It's like we would run by the discs for those of you who are behind the
Moshav
times.
band.
Exactly.
Moshav band.
And it would be like they kept us up as we
Right.
just knocked it all out.
Even now, I have we have 5 juicers. We get all the kids All your kids are going to be coming. A long assembly line. We're all juicing together, cutting together, peeling together.
Sounds like a threat to me.
You help a little bit, Manucha.
A lot of it.
Okay. Oh, yes. I was always confused. I only wanted to go to her house where she had a canopy bed and everything was so clean. And she actually had like a study. And she's like, no, but I want to come to you. It's so fun. Pesach cleaning and all your brothers and sisters. It's never boring. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm in a real life Mimi and Simi book. Like, and I'm Simi. The brown, broken down house.
That's
quite.
always
Street.
a rude awakening when you figure out in real life which one you are. Just wanted ice skates.
And I don't even know if I got even a little cake for
But
my
you didn't have
birthday.
3 brothers and sisters.
forgot
You
it.
had 6.
Well, hopefully Marva's listening.
Love you, Marva. But for me, Pesach, I was just always confused when mommy gave us a pack of Q-tips and toothpicks. I usually get confused which one, but she would hand us both. I'm like, wait, what's this for? And she'd say, in between the molding of the chairs, in between, and twist and turn. I still can't do my ears now because of that Pesach trauma. I have wax building up. Ugh, forget it. I can't brush my, they're yellow. Ma, it's all because of you.
What about the toothbrushes? Now you don't brush your teeth?
We're all going to be scared of your kids' hygiene now. Toothbrushes, Q-tips.
No, true story. I would not get a wood floor because I didn't want Erev Pesach to have to go between the parquet floors and scrub it. Everyone's like, wood. I'm like, absolutely not.
You're like, way too much Pesach maintenance there.
Okay, girls, what other drama did I cause?
Well, let's see. You didn't cause all the traumas. Some of them we may have caused on ourselves, but they're, they still haunt us, or should I say me a little bit. I have
Okay.
this vivid memory, even though, we were shipped out, Ma, since 10th grade. We used to go to USC. But the year of seminary, because I was away from home, it was so nice that I got to come home for Pesach. So here I am. Adla and Mushki were not there because they already had gone to help Rania. So I was like the big girl, showing off how mature I am, home from seminary. And I think Tati said we needed a little extra myrrh, and he sent me shopping to get some more. And I went to the store, whatever I got, it came home. And as we're grinding it, we're like, oh, this is not so bad. I thought it was harder. Usually we have Mushki with her goggles, but whoever helped me, we were good to go. And then came the Seder night, and we're looking forward. And a highlight of the Seder, when I was a kid, I would remember that we would always look at Ta as he took the maror, like a huge chunk. And then we would just look out for his ears to start turning red and like overtake his face, because like then he would start coughing. It was like almost like the maror experience watching Ta's reaction. And somehow it's just not coming. He's not turning red, and he was totally fine. And he's like, are you sure this is maror? Like, it really doesn't taste like it. Like, Nini, I'm not sure what you bought. Basically, we tasted it, white carrots. Not sure what type of dirty white carrots I bought, but it was definitely the maror to remember. Thank God. I think the first batch bought did actually have maror. So the second night we did get the real deal, but Tati was not really impressed with his tuition.
Nini, I was smarter than you because when I was in seminary, and now that you mentioned this, and I got the beautiful shout out from Shayna, I'll tell you something. Like, for me, everybody wanted to go home for Pesach, and I had come home for Gershi's wedding. So Mommy and Tati said at that point, it was one ticket. You're not coming home for Pesach. And I was like, no problem. So I started calling all the different shluchim, Rashi Crane, such a great experience. We got an offer to go to Gruzia, Georgia. And on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, when everybody was flying out and they were feeling so bad for us, I was like, best idea ever. And then Tati actually called me and he's like, never mind, the girls are not helping like you are. I'm buying you a ticket and you're coming home. And I'm like, nope, it's so expensive. You don't want me to come home. And Shane and I actually went to Georgia and had one of those experiences of like, they were so remote, they didn't know that Bachram come for Pesach. And when they heard two girls, they said, two girls from Anash want to come? No problem. So I got to like kosher a kitchen and clean chickens and all those really cool stories. We got to have that experience. It was amazing. But maybe, I'm not going to say this, Ma, because you're hearing, I'm only half joking, like possibly less work than going home.
Then cleaning chickens?
She's not joking. Right. You had so much fun in Gruzia, but the next year, Mendy was getting married after Shavuos, and Tati thought, why don't you go to Gruzia again? Adla had such a good time. And I was like, hey, that is just not for me. I'd rather mommy's torture than cleaning chickens in Gruzini land. So me and Ma made a nice plan. We told Ta we're going away, but secretly Ma booked me a ticket, or I booked myself
Wait,
a ticket.
that's Merdaf Levimintiv side. That sounds like that happens all the time, Mimi.
It happened then and it's happening now. Now that the secret's out, that was the one time I surprised Ta for his birthday, and I can't wait to surprise him again this year. Woo! Coming home after
Surprise!
first time, once in seminary and the Seder when I was married, and that was the only times I have been home since 9th grade.
Wow.
So it's a really long time. So we can't wait to have the Seders here.
I'm very excited to have all our girls home for.
Well, this all started because Adla and Mushka decided not to come to me this year. And
Kesha, you're coming. Adla, you're staying.
unfortunately,
Mushki, you're here. Nini, you're surprising us. But my Menucha, it
We
won't be
can't
there.
feel bad for Manucha when she's gonna go hang out with the elephants and the giraffes. Like, we can't feel bad. But you know what? Growing up, I feel like we were really strict growing up, and we never had any like snacks. Or some people that like they have their whole house, you can't even tell it's Pesach.
We had lady fingers.
We had lady fingers. We did have lady fingers for the kids,
Right.
and we did have like chocolate lemons and yogurts. But I feel like otherwise we were pretty strict. We used to do schmaltz. We like just recently went to oil
But,
for
Mom,
like health reasons.
you never told my in-laws who grew up in your house and took your minhagim that you switched to oil. Like, as you chill, you have to tell all the Persian boys as well. No, they are sticking to the schmaltz. I'm like, wait, no, my parents are like modern Orthodox now. Like, and they're like, nope.
Only for health reasons. Health reasons. Your parents, your in-laws are still young. They can still.
46-year-olds do not have health issues. Not my mama.
True. I didn't say my health issues. It's Tati's.
oh, there's always good to blame someone else. But wait, it seemed like Adla was going to outdo my special carrot story, which is hard to beat, but I actually have an inkling of what you're going to say. So my stomach's hurting already because we're outing ourselves quite a bit today.
Well, we're also going to give a lot of trips, but if you want to hear the most traumatic Pesach story, so we have two Bishvat triggers, and then we have B'dichas Chametz drama.
Oh my God. Shaking
Yes,
her.
I remember we could not find the 10th piece.
There's a few different
That's
stories.
the problem, Ma.
Oh, that was it? No, remember, now we write down, every kid writes down where they hid the
Pro
particular
tip.
comments. Because one year, no one remembered where the last piece was, and Tati was looking and searching. I mean, really searching. We could not find the last piece. I think it took like at least a half hour. So now we write it down. It's a good tip for everyone. Write down where you hid it, you know.
So basically, I think the most traumatic story, and Mimi, maybe we were like 15 and 16 years old. We were going to Rania maybe for the second year. And again, this is, now we know how old we are. This is 25 years ago. And Tati still had some Rebbe's matzah, which was a huge deal. right before, the last time they gave a matzah. I remember Gershi Mendy and Maishi waiting in line, and everyone brought home a matzah, and he had a very decent little stash. And every year he would give us all a little piece. Now I think it's down to crumbs. And
we have little crumbs, literally.
Little crumbs left. But, the Dove was excited we were coming, but he was mostly excited because we were bringing a piece of Rebbe's matzah for the Seder. Like, this was huge. So Tati wrapped it in silver foil, put it in a plastic bag, and Nini and I hid it in our room. We didn't tell anyone it was there. We were staying by Rani's Chavadas, and we're like, we're going to hide it. We're going to have it for the Seder. Anyways, long story short, somebody takes 10 pieces of bread and puts them in silver foil. I think now we learned that you actually should wrap it in like napkins so it should burn, and in 10 little bags, and they're pretty chunky pieces, and the kids go hide them, and off goes the search. Now, the search does so well, they find 10 pieces, they burn them the next day, and we come to our room, and there's sure enough a bag of silver foil and plastic bag, no problem. The first Seder comes, we put it under the kaira, so it should be there the whole time. And the whole meal was going, and Maitzi Matz, and there's probably like 100 people at the Seder. And then Dove takes out, like, we're like, no, and everyone's like
lined up
for our piece. And I can't say the story because I never felt so much fear in my life.
I don't even know if Ma knows this yet.
Tati definitely doesn't. I hope he stopped listening after he realized it was a surprise about your coming. He opened up the silver foil, the giant 10-piece of challah.
So bad.
And Dove can't talk, so he's like, ooh, ah. We didn't even know that a kid hit a piece in our room that they went through, and they must have. Meaning we were just like, I hope Yom Tov never ends and nobody calls Tati. And then there was also a giant piece of challah sitting on the...
A nice juicy chametz.
Like, Kol Chamira could not have saved us.
So what happened?
It was so bad.
What happened?
We want to pay for our trauma therapy. Meaning we didn't even realize what happened until we said, okay, we went back to our room.
It wasn't like it was one was in silver foil and one was in paper towel, and we were like,
well,
oh,
exactly.
we couldn't remember. It was literally on the same dresser. We had it like in our purse. It wasn't like even out. It was so crazy. It was bizarre.
I think like one of the little kids was like, we found it,
Yeah.
Like, okay, great.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We had to get that challah so fast off the Seder, right? No one's talking because we didn't make a mitzi yet. So everyone's like, oh my God.
Anyways, yeah. Well, the trauma's real.
Okay, back to my story where I was telling about the food. But I wanted to say that mine is like a trauma turned appreciation, because now I kind of appreciate the fact that we eat clean. You know what? Over the whole year, everyone's like, I want to go on a diet. I want to eat clean. I want to cut out processed food. And God literally gives you 8 days where he's like, you cannot eat anything besides for potatoes, mind you, but like meat and chicken. Very basic seasoning, just salt. Back to basics. And everyone's dying for it to do this the whole year, and then literally God gives us on a platter for 8 days, and everyone throws such a riot where they're like, we need pizza, we need to make fancy cakes, I can't live without chocolate cake. And I feel like we have to kind of debunk and go back to basics and just appreciate the fact that we get to eat Whole30 on Pesach.
I personally think that my Pesach food is delicious. I think it tastes better on Pesach than the whole year. It has like
your Pesach food is so good, but the second day even. But I want to just say one thing. No matter how amazing your Pesach food is, and it actually is amazing, do not offer it to people after Pesach. It's amazing until Havdalah, and then I'm going to say it as it is, it's probably tasteless. Like it's
Wait. Incoming next trauma. I sense a story coming.
Mushki was staying by mommy. She doesn't mind eating leftovers for 6 days after. And I happen to love.
I have my where I stop. I don't eat Pesach leftovers after Pesach.
That's not true. That's not true. We saw it firsthand.
You went to Heshem Manucha and I went to Thailand for Pesach 7 years ago. Long story short, the place we were had no food to break the fast on. We left with nothing. We had a 7-hour stopover in China. Pesach ends Matzah Shabbos. We land in New York Monday night. And mommy says, don't worry, girls. I warmed up all my Pesach leftovers for you. And Mushki's loving it.
I do love mommy's roast. Mommy's roast, I will eat anytime.
I remember it vividly. We come in, you're eating
Sitting on the
eggplant and onions in a jar and trying to tell us how we
Really
should be
throwing
jealous
up.
of you, because Mama's cooking is phenomenal. Eggplant and onions.
And
I
we're just
really
like,
have no standards.
pizza or Chinese food, we're starving. Stop giving us.
Excuse me. I just want to say that before Pesach, in the freezer, I buy ice cream and frozen pizza. So right after Pesach, as soon as you clean up or help clean up, quick, you're able to have pizza. You don't have to stand in the line. And we have 3 different types of ice creams, different flavors. So as soon as everyone cleans up, we're ready for the good Pesachim.
Well, you must have given that. You must have given that to the cleaners and only had the beets and potatoes left for
The
them.
good Zachin was gone, and mommy was offering me Tati's birthday kumpat. Now, Tati's birthday kumpat makes me
delicious.
so happy.
It doesn't spoil.
Especially if
Even
it's
if
in the
it was-
back fridge.
I said, even if it was in the back fridge, it doesn't mean it doesn't go bad.
When you come back from South Africa, Ma, please make sure to save some in the back fridge for her.
Twitching already. I'm so scared. I'm
I
making
want to
sure.
miss out a chance to eat it.
She's missing Tati's birthday, and that is really hard enough. So at least she should have the kumpat. But people, the truth is, now that we're mentioning, how Tati's birthday is on Pesach, just to get a little serious, because, Pesach is a lot of work, but it's actually a Yom Tov that we happen to all love. And Ma, one thing you did is you invested so much in Pesach because we're always trying to make it special and how to make it more beautiful and how to make it, if we talk about trauma, to help Tati get over his trauma of his bar mitzvah being matzah in 770, because when your birthday and your brother's birthday and everyone else's birthday, all their birthdays are on Pesach, we always wanted to make it nice. And I feel like our family actually has some really smart ways that we've learned to develop now how to make Pesach easy, and also some ways to make Pesach really beautiful and meaningful so that it is such a huge, part of childhood core memories and to really make it amazing. Now, why don't you tell us 1 or 2 special things that you always did with us, and that I think some of us past, we do it with our kids even when we're not home, and then we can all go around and kind of share, what we've learned along the way. Because everyone here, maybe except for, actually now I'm lying. Me and Nini have made Pesach many, many times. Everyone else has helped a lot.
Well, everyone has helped, especially when you guys came to me for all these years. And don't think you're taking a sabbatical this year. You're not coming back next year. Ma, they're not yours to keep. We're coming this year, and then they come back. You're invited too. But don't
I
stay
am?
always.
Always. Ma, tell us some of the really fun things that we kind of always did growing up for Pesach. And then,
And Chol Moed, we always went on trips. We always went on a family trip, everyone together. And when I had little kids and big kids, so one trip, the first trip, everyone together. And then sometimes we would, the little kids would do one thing and the big kids would do something else. On Shvi Shel Pesach, we always acted out Kriyas Yam Suf, and we had charades about Pesach. We just had fun games, and that made Pesach so enjoyable. Always take out all the Haggadahs from when you kids were in first grade till eighth grade at least. We go look at them and compare. We play broken telephone, during the meal. Say something about Pesach, and just like keep the kids also very, entertained and part of the Seder.
And she does Manishtana gifts. That's my favorite.
Oh.
I'm still checking mine in.
The only problem is, like, the little kids, of course, you want to give them something because they're saying the Manashtana. But then I have my 18-year-old and 20-year-olds, like, still saying, we're going to say the Manashtana. I also want to give,
So last year, when we were all together, we all lined up, right? I think almost all of us were there for Pesach, and we did the Manishtana together, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think just enjoying each other's company is just the best tip there is. Like in everything, whatever you do, if you do it together, you have a positive attitude, it just makes everything enjoyable.
You're not giving any of the slave labor tips? Ma, it's so true. I think those like fun memories really made us feel, I think it's like the teacher in you that made us feel like, yes, like the Haggadah Televincha, like it, there's so much to do for Pesach, but at the end of the day, it really is for the kids. So me and Ada, when we go for Nini, we've been doing this for years and years. Now it's popular, but we're always like, okay, like what are the kids going to remember? So we set up the table. We get two blue tablecloths on the sides. And we set it up like the waves and the brown runner in the middle that looks like sand, and we wash all the menchies, and we have the blocks in the back like the pyramids, and the kids just love it. Like we do it for the second Seder. I think we do the communal Seder by Nini, and then the second Seder, and it's always the kids' like favorite part.
Keep going.
So good. We also have the tablecloth. I have a beautiful Kadesh Orchat tablecloth, and we put out the best silver, and we have a beautiful Kosi Eliyahu.
And I really think that with the Seder, when you think of it from like that teacher lens, that a lot of us have, like the God Levincha, like we don't rush through it. Every kid could say their Dvar Torahs. Like they work so hard. They learn so much. They're learning for Yaina already knows the Manashtana by heart. I didn't have the heart to tell him that it wasn't even Rosh Chodesh Nisan yet. Like it's just like he's so prepared and ready that everyone should have their chance to shine because they learn so much, and to make it kid oriented and let them feel part of it.
I think it's nice. What we do is also, like you say, it should be very interactive. We go around the table and every child reads a paragraph, or as much as they could do. So every child is part of the Seder.
Yeah, it keeps me up at night. I'm still scared.
And like one Dvar Torah.
Me
You
and
have
Hesher-
some kids that want to say 10, and some kids
Me
that
and Yucha are like Hebrew dyslexic, so we'd have to plan which paragraphs are so we could do it in advance.
So true.
Mushki, when you were a teacher, I just remember you made the most beautiful Haggadah for the kids.
Oh my gosh, it was really epic. Teachers would ask me, what do you do for Purim or Megillah? I'm like, Purim's one day, and there's not even enough time to really look at the kids' Megillahs. Like, do something cute, but that's not what you should be investing in. If you're a teacher, invest in Pesach, because there's over a week for everyone to sit around, and it's Yom Tov, and look at the kids' Haggadahs. I literally made, because Pesach's a Seder, instead of a Haggadah in a book, a box. It looked kind of like a shoebox, and the Haggadah was in files for order. And around the table, we had miniatures. Each plate was Kadesh, Orchatz, Karpas, Yachatz. And the kids were just so proud to bring it to the table. I mean, the parents that were traveling really hated me because their kid, was holding it. They ended up holding it, on the plane. But yeah, like Pesach is the time to really, I feel like as a teacher, as a parent, like invest in the kids. Nowadays, it's easy. You go online, they have all these little fake frogs and all this stuff for the makais, but it really makes a difference. And as a teacher, I would see teachers so stressed. And I'm like, if you're going to be stressed, the kids are not going to even remember. Slow down and just make it fun.
I just wanted to say, I think it's really important because I'm, doing it now, but I think it's important to look at the Haggadahs, especially the younger ones, before Pesach. Even though you're so busy in the kitchen, look at it, enjoy it, go over with the children. They spend so much time beforehand, preparing for it. They give them that chance to explain what they did and show off all their, hard work. Because at the Seder, you don't really have that much time. And then after Pesach and Kol Moed, and blah, 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 it's, it just goes by.
Yom Tov Day, like if you dear open it, they'd be like, "Ah, my Mora said it's wrapped in a bag." Like, don't you dear open that before Yom Tov? But I feel like there's enough Yom Tov days, like 3-day Yom Tov. Hello, there will be enough time to go through that Haggadah.
A life-saving hack. Now that you mentioned it's a 3-day Yom Tif, know who you're going to hang out with on Yom Tif and delete your WhatsApp chat with them now. Okay? Starting from Rosh Chodesh, do not have any communication with the people you're going to spend Yom Tif with, and then you'll be so happy to see each other over a 3-day Yom Tif, and you'll have something to say. Same with like you're going on a long flight or a long drive. Don't talk to your husband or the other people you're with. Do not talk to the family members that you're spending Yom Tov with. Save it all. Come back for the 3 days. Boom.
Is that why we're taking a break from the podcast the week before Pesach? Because we have to delete this chat.
We have to delete this chat after we record it and then come back and discuss all the feedback we got in real time, and that way we have something to say. But
That's me and
Mimi,
Hesha.
I was gonna say no more. I will not go to my in-laws until Pesach.
I think Hesha and I could repeat and say the same thing over and over again and still enjoy each other's company.
And then I'll come the second days and you could
You know,
repeat
repeat
it
it again.
again.
yeah, but if I'm here for Yom Tif, I'm not having that, okay? By day 2, you better have new content.
Save up, checklist. Never mind what meals you're serving, different conversations to be having. But I'll tell you what I do in the pre-Pesach, not even the cooking yet. But I remember growing up, Ma, we always had to rearrange your kitchen, where we took everything from the pantry and brought it downstairs to the other closet. We were taking out your towels and kind of rearranging your kitchen to fit all the Pesach stuff back into your kitchen. I find that a little hard. I'd rather kind of close up my kitchen. I have shelves in my garage that kind of store my Pesach stuff. I bring in my buckets and I bring in those shelves as well. So I find an empty wall, or you could even put it in front of your pantry or your cabinet, because I do put some shelves in my kitchen. This way I have my pots and pans, easy access. I put all my paper goods out. Generally, we usually have a lot of guests, so it makes it much easier. No one has to search through drawers and, find things. Everything's out. The kids could self-serve. And also then I don't have to move anything out of my kitchen. I'm kind of bringing in new shelves, kind of setting up a whole new little shop. And then I close put everything back in the containers, take those shelves, put them back into my garage, and the containers go right back on it. So it's pretty much my Pesach kitchen on the go, the containers, the shelves, and everything else. And then I don't have to empty out my pantry. And, I remember, by Runya, sometimes we bring things down to the basement and up to the basement. It's a little bit of a less schlepping. Throw everything into the pantry, lock it up, and then just bring out your Pesach stuff and kind of make a little pop-up shop like that. And it's just easier access, and you don't have to switch around your drawers or cabinets as much. So
Nini, I just had the best memory of preparing for Pesach at Runya. Runya had like this little grate in the floor leaning to the cellar, and we asked you,
I remember going to those basement stairs, see?
and we asked you to get something from the basement, and then you were right in the spot, and he poured buckets of water on you.
Soaking wet. I just thought it was a typical leak going on. But yeah, you guys were so mean. See, good. I'm not always the only mean one on this podcast.
It was survival.
Oh my God. Good times.
I'll tell you what I think is really, really helpful in terms of cooking, with two pro food tips that really help. Especially Ma, because you mentioned we are chalamiters. Everyone has a job for Pesach, and my job is always to plan the chalamite trips for the family. You can always tell which Pesach part of the family I'm part of, because those kids are on a trampoline, or those kids are at the beach, or they're doing something. And when we see a picture from the park, then I always know that's where the other part of the family ended up. So depending on where we'll be, but it is very hard to schlep. And Ma, you were very good about having us early in the morning peeling cucumbers and peeling carrots and boiling eggs and peeling apples, and especially we're Chabad and we don't eat peeled and we don't eat any processed food. So we would watch all the other kids in the parks with their chips and their sandwiches and their, and we were literally eating that. And by Nini, we started doing something different. We started making a giant brunch. Like everybody sit down. We're making salad and cottage cheese and cantaloupe and eggs, and eat as much as you want because we're going on the trip and we're not bringing snacks. Like you're on your own. There are no snacks. Be full. And then when we come home, the second hack, so it's a double for you guys, it's a twofer, is that we have a Pesach grill. And I think that when I discovered it and I loved it so much, I think I bought one for mommy, one for the house, one for there. I'm like, everybody buying a grill. Because when you don't use spices, grills add so much flavor. And then the minute you're coming home from the trip, the kids are happy, or the husbands, they start grilling for you and supper can be ready so fast. Schnitzel and french fries, done. They'll eat it every single day, or burgers. And the minute you walk in, you can start doing supper if everything's defrosted and ready. I think that has been the biggest game changer in our Pesach game.
It's totally been a game changer, because I remember even the beginning years, we were always trying to like how to make chicken taste good. It was like many ways, and you're making tomato sauce, and we do make all these things, and eggplant or oranges, and it's hard to be original. And here, exactly, when you had the grill going, you have grilled veggies, and you just put on different spices, so to say, or homemade jalapeno or wine, or just salt and lemon, and everything tastes so good. And the mess is outside the house, so that's even better.
So I feel like something else is that we used to do is that we used to have we used to buy not the best stuff for Pesach. Like we had an old blender or bad dishes, or sharing 3 peelers.
Like the
And
country.
recently we were like, wait, no, we don't have to suffer. We were hand grading all our kugels and it was taking forever. And then we're like, wait, we could just buy a Pesach blender. We can buy 10 peelers. We don't have to take turns. It was crazy, but I feel like it really changed the Pesach game. It really all of a sudden it's not so hard. Everyone could do things together, even though a lot more dishes, but that's a man's job, so it's okay. But all of a sudden all the kids were juicing together, and it literally takes 1 hour.
Bubby would be so proud, and your Chava, because she loves saying it. It's a man's job.
Definitely. But I feel like all of a sudden we were sharing blenders, the bungalow colony. Dvarleya would have it. We would bring it back in a bag. Whoever could go back and forth. And then we're like, wait, we could just buy our own blender. And it's been life-changing. It makes Pesach so much easier, so much smoother. And also, whatever makes our life easier Pesach, I feel like we're go for it. Even though it's just a week of the year, I feel like it's worth investing.
It's true. Sometimes you feel bad. Not bad. It's do I need really 15 peelers? But yes, because this way, when you have, especially when Adla and Mushki are by me, and we have all these able-bodied kids ready to help, but we're like, you have 1 hour to help us, and then you could go swimming. So this one, we have 7 different juicers for the oranges and the lemons, so that gets knocked out in an hour. And we have literally 50 pounds of potatoes, carrots, and sweet potatoes, and it just all gets done so fast.
By the way, guys, I'm going to tell you something crazy. But if you do have a food processor at home, Menucha, now, it turns out that you can make chareses in 10 minutes, and you don't need to stay an entire day before Yom Tov to make the Simanei HaSeder. Ma,
Did you say chayroises or is it chayroses?
chareses.
Are you sure that's not just a rumor?
I don't know what. At least a few hours to chop up in little pieces. I'm not talking about
I
mush.
think you also have to do it with one phone, the phone in your hand, and by your head, and by hand chop. We all thought, Ayla told me that. I'm like, no, charoses takes a half a day.
And I multitask, chop up and,
The first time I made Pesach, I said, okay, everything has to be done the day before the Seder, because the Seder day, I'm going to make the Simanei HaSeder. Okay, so that's boiling eggs, right? That's peeling maror and putting it in a blender. And then there's making chareisas. Now, my mother makes charoset and charoset. To differentiate the difference, could someone explain what charoset is that mommy makes? Charoset, that look what you do. I'm going to shock people. Apple, okay, ching, peel, two, pear, four, nuts, voila, blend, looks like cement.
I was always confused when my teacher said it should look like the mortar. I was like, no, you mean the bricks, like the apple and pear bricks.
I
was
can't,
like,
girls.
"Which
It's too
thought I
funny.
got it wrong."
But by the way, mind you, when it came during COVID and they had the Seder to go options, and everyone else maybe made their charaises and were giving out like very red, brick, not brick, cement looking like charaises in jars. I had beautiful charoses, and my pictures got all over. They were the ones broadcasted because they.
It looks like a fruit salad on the camera.
Fruit
It
salad
is a fruit
Kyra.
salad.
I eat it the rest of Pesach. I love it.
So does Mushki, by the way.
It is mommy's charoses is my favorite. It's so hard for me the first 2
I
days.
make
of
I
Pesach.
make I make a
And
container.
I
this
can't eat
big.
it because it's on the Kyra. Actually, it's the best.
We have to wait for the second day, but it's delicious.
But that's what life change happens, Menucha, when you also buy a blender. Boom, you save. I finished by 10:30. We were able to get manicures and pedicures because I'm like, see money and Seder, done. I don't know how, but finished.
You're
And
like,
does the smoke alarm go off with the zeroas burning?
Every year.
Tati does like about, I don't know, 15, 20 zeroas, for the neighbors, for Rivka, for this one, for that one. And
But we're saying that Pesach 8 days, it's enough to invest, makes sense to invest in 10 peelers. But does it make sense to invest in the Pesach kitchen?
Ooh, Mushki, this gets me upset every time.
Why do you think I brought it up?
Because I just figured a house, and I think when Tati looked at it the first time, he's like, "Who's making your plans? Which idiot?" And I'm like, "Why? What's the matter?" And he's like, "Where's the Pesach kitchen?" And I was like, "Oh, actually, they really wanted to put it in, and everyone convinced me." And I was like, "Take it out." So he's like, "So it's you, Are you crazy?" And I don't know. I have so many thoughts, and I'm happy to hear what you guys think. One, real estate in New York is worth so much, or in any house. How could you give up a space in your house for 8 days? Question number one. Most important question. I am social. I cannot handle being stuck in a corner of my basement, everybody having fun upstairs, and I'm the little maid flipping the latkes in the basement or whatever. I'm making the eggs. People, the eggs are ready. Like, that's not happening. And three, Pesach, you spend the most time in your kitchen. So, you actually need, where you want everyone to be helping, that only happens when you have access to your big space. It's not that hard to kosher a kitchen. You self-clean an oven, you clean it. Nini does really smart things. She covers it with linoleum or wrapping paper. There's
I
all
love
these
my
Duct tape.
I love my Pesach kitchen, which is in my kitchen.
So that is a smarter way to do it, but you're still giving up a space in your kitchen, right? Ma, you said to me, don't put a Pesach kitchen, put a couch, right? Because it's a whole year you have that. And is it such a big deal to kosher? But also, I don't get it. Are you cooking before Pesach in the basement and you're saving it for Pesach? Or are you cooking chametz downstairs and then koshering over? There's different ways to do it. And I'm with Hesha. You don't need to be cooking for 3 weeks cookies. So nobody will eat cookies for a week. And you'll have a million cookies the Shabbos after Pesach. What do you need so much kitchen access for?
Well, Brachi Spritzer made a reel about her Pesach kitchen, and it got 100,000 views. So I think
totally
it's
wrote
worth
a
it.
comment what is this and why are we promoting this?
Well, you help the algorithm, but I think for that, it's worth it to make a Pesach kitchen. We can make a reel.
That's a good thing we can use our mother.
I think it has some value for those of you who haven't made Pesach in a while. the kitchen does. I mean, either way, you probably would want to clean your kitchen because there's such a great feeling, and you do really need that access. Because I know I do have some in-laws who have like kind of a laundry room, kitchen, or the basement. I do get that. The basement is harder because it's like just not where you're used to. It's like it's a change of mindset also to be going down to be eating your breakfast. It like almost like you almost don't even go down there, but right, like you're just cooking and you don't want to be just like dinner is ready. Definitely outside grilling, much easier. Um, there is value. I think if you made it smart where you could utilize it during the year, like I said, like almost a laundry room kitchen where your sink and your counters kind of offset you something during the year versus giving up total amount of space. Some years I'm like, it would be nice not to have to clean my kitchen and or get a head start. Like this year where I'm really behind and I'm like trying to even calculate how long is it going to clean my like is it going to take to clean my house and get to my kitchen before I could even start getting ready for Pesach. But I don't know. I don't have a Pesach kitchen, so
I love my Pesach kitchen. It doesn't really take up that much space. You don't even know it's there. Like most people don't even know. They think it's just a cabinet. It doesn't like look different. It's part of my kitchen, and I have a sink, and I have a stove, and I
So
have
yours is smart, Mom, because when the doors come down and you just cover your island, the whole kitchen is set, right? It's like
exactly.
everything is there, and you don't have to, but you end up still koshering some of your ovens because you want
I
more
because
ovens,
I want 3 ovens. That's why. And
right?
I have to do the refrigerator, but everything else I just line. I mean, I like to clean everything anyway, so all the
And we
cabinets are
like to
clean.
clean with you. Like there's nothing more exciting, Wishki, and you're saying it better when mommy knocks on the door and she says the famous words.
everyone together now.
What are they?
Room
We're going
for
room
room.
to room.
Ma,
Together. What Ma, say it with us. Girls, are you ready?
shivers.
And we couldn't hear. I have to do it again.
Room. We're gonna go room by room.
No, for
No.
room. No, no,
No.
not five.
That's not how my mama said it.
When I hear, and she does it like every season, there's a reason. Like I'll come, she's like, Mishki, I'm so excited you're here. We're gonna go room for room.
Room.
And like, I
Room.
don't know, mommy
Room.
kids, when I say that they're not as excited. They know what it's like, what it's about.
And then I would say, we have to clean. When I finish, then you could finish. And you say, Ma, it's not fair.
It's true. It's bringing up old trauma.
Adla, now you don't have a Pesach kitchen because when you built your house, you kind of didn't want to take that space. But I remember back in New Jersey, you did have a Chabad house kitchen downstairs. So you did utilize it before Pesach. I remember you always kind of being a little bit ahead of the game with your cooking, utilizing that kitchen.
Okay, true. It was a stainless steel kitchen, which made it very, very easy. So sometimes, you're right, I'm thinking about what I did that really made Pesach easier was that I used to go to the Kylo store just for their meats and chickens and all the proteins. And this was my hack. I would only buy in advance what I could cook in advance. Kosher one oven, which means you don't have to do your whole kitchen. You can just cover everything in plastic. And when I came home from the Kylo store, I put up, I used to sometimes even stay up all night, all of my roasts and all of my chicken, especially because like there aren't that many spices you're using, it was just basically wine, and I would maybe, saute some onions. By the way, people do something really smart. They might saute in an oven pan. You don't have to sit on the fire. In a big pan, if you cut up onions with oil and you leave it overnight on 250 low, tons of that, you'll have enough for the rest of Pesach, and that's amazing. So if you have that prepped in advance, you can freeze it and then take them out as you need it. It adds flavor to everything. And then I would cook all of my meats in advance, and then I had enough roast for the whole Yom Tov because roast does take the longest amount of time.
It also takes a lot of space in your
and it
oven.
takes space, exactly. And instead of freezing them, when you freeze them, they're huge, bulky things, and I didn't really have space for that. But I would just always freeze them already cooked. And that was amazing because no matter what, I always had frozen roast ready to go. And it was like getting a head start on myself. So I love that because it was like I tricked myself. I barely remembered cooking it weeks before. And then whenever I needed, out it came. It was a huge time saver and space saver.
Well, it's also so
I think
smart because you avoid. Oh, it's also so.
yeah.
It's also so you avoid putting it into the freezer, putting it in buckets, and defrosting it, and freezing the meat again. You kind of get it fresh and knock it out, and then it's
The worst part is remembering to defrost it in time to cook it. Like that is half the Pesach. You're worrying about that when you're just taking it out and you're good to go. And the night before, and you come back the next morning and it's ready. Like I love that for protein. I'm not a big freezer, and Hesha knows this because she spent a lot of Yom Tovim by me. That not only for Yom Tov, but I always cook on Yom Tov. I love fresh food. I do not like frozen food. This might make me unpopular. Everyone wants to freeze their kugels forever. I would rather make it fresh. On Yom Tov, you don't have that much to do. That's how I feel. So, like, it's okay to sit there and put up a pot of fresh potatoes or anything like that. And then the food is so delicious.
So I freeze. I'm not a big freezer, but I do freeze my chickens and like the meatballs and roasts. And I have it in the freezer, and I like to make fresh the side dishes.
Yeah.
Especially also when we're gonna go places like Palmway, we just take out the meat, and then it's so easy to do everything else.
Since you're mentioning the freezer, honestly, I feel like you have to cook smartly. There's certain things that are better frozen. Like who remembers like eating lemon juice a few days into Pesach and it starts getting really, really sour? Knowing how to freeze things is a skill, and I feel like it's so good to utilize. Like I also love cooking fresh, like making your potatoes a potato cool. It's so much better fresh. But like knowing when to freeze, because then you could just pull it out the night before, and it's so much less work. I like freezing.
What are things you think can freeze besides for like meat and chicken? I agree. What else?
well, I think you said a lot of sauteed onions. That comes super handy on Pesach. So if you make fresh your mashed potatoes, then you don't have to sit and chop onions as well, because that's easy. You peel the potatoes, put it in the pot. Having the onions would make it much easier pulling it from the freezer. And I think, like Hesha said, like squeezing lemons and oranges is fun in the beginning, but then it gets annoying to be pulling out your juicers in the middle of Pesach, but it doesn't last all the way through. So if you squeeze enough in the beginning and put like mason jars or just plastic jars in the freezer, then pulling them out as needed, you have your dressing, you have your drinks if you want the orange juice. And I think that's super helpful on Pesach to have your dips or your juices that you do just in the beginning of Pesach. You kind of do it one time and that's it.
Right.
Forget about past Pesach trauma. I'm listening to it and I'm like, I need to buy mason jars and now blender. Like, how am I making Pesach this year?
I'll give you some.
Ma, could I just close the kitchen and go to you?
Absolutely not.
I thought she was fishing for an invitation, but now she's just go out and asking straight.
No, I
She's
love
direct,
doing
and I'm going to give her a
leftovers.
direct answer. No.
No.
But I'm going to give you some of my.
I love the Q-tips. The toothpicks are the best. I love going room for room. And like the squeezing the oranges. And I actually really do love your roses. Nobody else does.
And you like my leftovers. That is true.
So good.
And
She'll
she's
have them
like,
after
your
the
shade are so pretty.
I am not buying mason jars. No.
I have a lot of extras I could give you. Seriously.
Oh my God.
That's not what she wanted. Wrong answer.
That's like when my mother-in-law sent me over a tray of chicken the year of COVID, and I wanted to know why. And she said, for the Seder. And I said, but I'm coming to you. I don't know. I feel like this happens to me all the time now.
Do you get the hint? Do you get the hint?
No, I didn't. I still think I'm coming to her for the COVID Seder. Like,
Mushki serves you right for not coming to me. You don't have to buy mason jars when you come to Corpus.
well, if any of our listeners is going to Orlando and bought a house with too many rooms and wants someone that doesn't clean but has good vibes,
Hit her
this is an
up.
advertisement. Before we do our Fast Five, I think we do know maybe the reason why Hashem wanted us to redo this episode, even though it is not easy and spending double the time is, I really think, for Ayla, who gives so much to everyone else and is such an unbelievable sister. And we always say Ayla doesn't like listen to any of the social rules. People say, don't work with family, it's the worst. She's like, well, I'm going to hire all my family. I'm going to include all of them. She has something good. She always wants to bring her family along. So I
So
think Hashem just wanted you to feel that little love and spark um, of friendship in your hearts. We want to really, from the bottom of our hearts, thank Bela Greisman and Shayna Nagel, all the way in Australia, who has been thinking of Adla and thinking, what is the perfect thing? And, even though this is so much fun, the podcast, and we love doing it, it takes an enormous amount of time and energy. And Adla is definitely a big engine behind it, always on her mind. No one wants to have a Shabbos table with us anymore because all we talk about is the podcast. So you really
including husband and kids.
no, this past Shabbos was really bad. It was just like me, you, and like Javi's producer.
It was a workshop. This.
Yeah. Yeah. So so really thank you, Shayna Nagel and Bela, for being such amazing friends. And again, like not thinking just, a lot of people buy gifts thinking, what do I like? I'm going to buy something I like. They might like it, but really tuning in to your amazing friend and mentor and colleague, Adla, and sponsoring this episode for her in honor of her birthday. It means really so much for all of us. And I think all of us really just want to say happy birthday, Adla.
Happy birthday.
birthday.
You've been acting like the 40-year-old sister all along, taking care of us for years and years, always thinking about us, trying to push us, even though we try to convince you, no, we don't have, no matter how many times you offer these jobs to Heshem and Nucha.
Or I get calls from Hesha. Stop hiring Mushki. Fire her tomorrow.
Even though you think everyone wants to push themselves and you give us all these opportunities and we keep, saying no and no, but you think we all have that motivational spark deep inside. And really, I think all of us just want to say what an amazing sister you are.
And daughter.
Not only to us, but our kids. And we love you so much.
Oh my God. That's amazing. When you turn a new decade, it feels very big. It really does. So, what's more fun than doing a podcast together with your sisters for your 40th birthday year?
So is Mendy off the hook?
You got away easy.
Yeah, only if he listens. We'll find out. Only if he listens till the end will we know.
When do we find out if Mendy survives the 40th birthday? I say, husbands, anytime there's a round 0 at the end or a 5, like someone has to daven for them.
Mushki, I'm all teary-eyed, but yes, happy birthday, Adla. We're so happy to be here to celebrate with you and Mom. So double whammy, twofer, two amazing, things celebrating this podcast of tips and traumas and all the fun stuff that bring Pesach. But Mom, now we have a special fast 5 for you.
Okay.
You know us, so you got to choose. No one gets offended here. It won't come up in the next episode. Number 1, which daughter cleans her house the way that you clean your house?
Room for room.
Room for room.
I would say Rania.
True. True. We know that.
It's true. We've spent many a Pesach there. We went room for room. That's for sure.
Closet.
Never mind room for room. Rania has building for building.
Building for building. That's true. It was quite the Pesach cleaning experience. Gave us a lot more training.
Oh, we forgot the other house.
Minor details. Well, number 2.
Rania's the best cleaner. It's true.
She is very organized also.
Very organized. Lists from
She does room for room and organize. Like, that's it. We have no hope.
a true Gitlin.
And a trip Erev Yom Tov. She's probably done already.
Number 2, if you were to bring one daughter to help you clean, which one would it be?
Hmm. Probably you, Nini.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not you. I'm
Too
coming.
expensive.
I'm
She's coming.
coming. Woo! Okay, number 3. What were the other questions? Which daughter always tried getting out of the cleaning when we were younger?
Daughters or just daughter?
Whatever you think.
Getting out of the cleaning.
Does Heshem Manuch even know what the cleaning was?
I'm flying out of here. I'm running.
You don't have to. You don't have to pretend we're like a different family. Ma did not change that
Actually, I
drastically.
think you're the candidate I'm going to choose.
She brings the fun.
She does. She does.
Okay, which daughter has their kids lined up at 9:00 a.m. to be out and about for their Cholamite trips?
Ayla, hands down.
Ayla's the head.
10 o'clock
honcho.
and you're staying home.
Exactly. But not out by 9:30.
Closed.
Change of plans. You're staying on the couch.
Staying home.
Yeah. Which daughter would close her eyes and just say Kol Chamira and be done all the cleaning very fast?
Hesha, I know you're smiling. You know it's you.
It is me, and this is why I'm never going to do Pesach in Tarzana, because Dari's so strict about cleaning, and it's literally going to be the end of us. The end of us is going to be Pesach cleaning, because I'll just Pesach cleans, and he doesn't really think that's it.
When Hesha comes to the house, she has a rule. Ma, you're not allowed to go into my room. I'm closing the door. Do not look. That's what I do.
I think one of the funniest
rule.
on behalf of us here, thank you for being here and letting us joke. And obviously, you're so good natured. And when we talk about the trauma, it's only half true. We loved cleaning with you. We loved making Pesach with you. We're actually so excited to be with you this Pesach and hopefully give everyone something fun to listen to while they're doing their Pesach cooking, cleaning, preps. And just remember, you want your kids to have those positive memories with Yom Tov. Don't be stressed. Enjoy it. It's it's a Yom Tov of freedom, and it's all about the beautiful memories that you're gonna make together as a family.
So you know what? We didn't mention Menucha. Who helped me with my shopping?
The hardest shop of all.
Makeup shopping?
Clothes shopping.
Shoe shopping.
How could we forget that on the Pesach episode?
Menucha!
Which daughter is making sure you're coming dressed and ready for the Seder?
Menucha.
Me and
Ma, tell the listeners.
See you
Help
next
us wrap up the show.
See you next week on the
Sisters
Sisters Chat.
Chat.
Yeah.